Good evening and welcome. We are on the precipice of a new era, one shaped by the policies of a returning administration. Tonight, we delve into the heart of the matter, examining the 10 most anticipated Trump proposals set to redefine the American landscape in 2025. From the borders to our healthcare system, from our classrooms to the very air we breathe, the decisions made in the coming months will have a ripple effect across the nation. Stay tuned to find out which proposals could have the biggest impact on your life. We'll dissect the potential consequences, the voices of dissent, and the potential for lasting change. This isn't just about politics, it's about people. It's about understanding how these policies will impact your family, your community, and your future. This is America 2025. The countdown begins. Let's get started. First up, immigration. It's an issue that has divided this country for decades, and the Trump administration is signaling a return to a hardline stance. We're talking about more than just reinforced concrete and steel. We're talking about a potential overhaul of visa programs, increased scrutiny at the border, and a renewed focus on deportations. Critics argue this could have a chilling effect on legal immigration, cripple industries reliant on migrant labor, and further fracture families with mixed immigration status. But the administration argues it's about regaining control, securing our borders, and putting American citizens first. Tonight, we'll examine both sides of this contentious issue. The Affordable Care Act, a cornerstone of the previous administration, faces an uncertain future. The Trump administration has long vowed to repeal and replace it, but the question remains, with what? Proposals on the table range from expanding health savings accounts to allowing insurance companies to sell plans across state lines. The stakes are incredibly high. Millions of Americans rely on the Affordable Care Act for their healthcare coverage, and any changes could have a profound impact on their lives and their wallets. We'll take a closer look at the potential ramifications for pre-existing conditions, prescription drug costs, and the overall affordability of healthcare in America. Tax cuts are often touted as a way to stimulate the economy, putting more money back in the pockets of Americans. But critics often argue they disproportionately benefit the wealthy and corporations, while doing little to help the middle class and potentially ballooning the national debt. That's the debate raging right now as the Trump administration proposes a new round of sweeping tax cuts. We'll break down the numbers, analyze who benefits most, and explore the potential long-term consequences for the nation's economic health. Will these proposed cuts lead to a surge in investment and job creation, or will they simply exacerbate existing inequalities and leave future generations burdened with a mountain of debt? Education, the cornerstone of any democracy. But what happens when ideology clashes with curriculum? The Trump administration is pushing for sweeping changes to education policy with a focus on school choice and charter schools. Proponents argue this will empower parents and foster competition, leading to better educational outcomes. Opponents, however, fear these changes will divert much-needed funds from already struggling public schools, exacerbate existing inequalities, and potentially erode the separation of church and state. Tonight, we'll go inside America's classrooms to explore the potential impact of these proposed reforms on students, teachers, and the future of public education. The environment, a topic that often sparks heated debate. The Trump administration has made it clear that it favors deregulation, arguing that environmental protections stifle economic growth. This means we could see a rollback of regulations on everything from clean air and water to endangered species and climate change. Environmental groups warn that this could have dire consequences for public health, accelerate climate change, and leave a legacy of environmental degradation for future generations. Tonight, we'll examine the potential trade-offs between economic growth and environmental protection, and ask the tough questions about the true cost of deregulation. Trade deals can be incredibly complex, but their impact on our daily lives is undeniable. The Trump administration has promised to put America first when it comes to trade, renegotiating existing agreements and potentially sparking trade wars with economic rivals. Proponents argue that this tough stance is necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair competition. Critics, however, warn that protectionist policies could lead to higher prices for consumers, retaliatory tariffs from other countries, and a slowdown in global economic growth. Tonight, we'll untangle the complexities of international trade and explore the potential consequences of the administration's America First approach. The criminal justice system. It's a system designed to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. But what happens when that system is itself flawed? The Trump administration has signaled support for a number of controversial changes to the criminal justice system, including sentencing reform and changes to law enforcement policies. Advocates for reform argue that these changes are long overdue, addressing issues like mass incarceration, racial disparities in sentencing, and police brutality. Opponents, however, worry that these changes could lead to an increase in crime and undermine public safety. Tonight, we'll take a hard look at the proposed reforms and their potential impact on communities across America. Rebuilding America promise or pipe dream? Crumbling roads, outdated airports, a power grid in desperate need of modernization, America's infrastructure is in dire need of an upgrade. The Trump administration has proposed a massive infrastructure plan, promising to rebuild America's roads, bridges, airports, and more. But how will this ambitious plan be funded? And will it prioritize projects that benefit all Americans, or will it primarily serve the interests of corporations and the wealthy? Tonight, we'll delve into the details of the proposed plan, examining its potential costs, benefits, and the political battles that lie ahead. The uncertain future of social safety nets, Social Security and Medicare. Two programs that millions of Americans rely on for retirement security and healthcare. But these vital programs are facing long-term funding challenges, and the Trump administration has proposed changes that have sparked fierce debate. From raising the retirement age to privatizing certain aspects of these programs, the proposed changes have been met with a mixture of support and opposition. Tonight, we'll take a closer look at the state of Social Security and Medicare, the proposed changes, and their potential impact on current retirees and future generations. The gun debate, reloaded. Few issues are as divisive as gun control in America. The Second Amendment guarantees the right to bear arms, but with each mass shooting, the calls for stricter gun control grow louder. The Trump administration, however, has signaled a reluctance to enact stricter gun control measures, aligning itself with gun rights advocates who argue that such measures infringe on the Second Amendment and do little to prevent gun violence. Tonight, we'll examine the arguments on both sides of this heated debate, exploring the potential impact of the administration's stance on gun violence, mental health, and the very fabric of American society. America's crossroads. The year 2025 is rapidly approaching, and the decisions made in the coming months will have a profound and lasting impact on this nation. As we've seen tonight, the Trump administration is proposing a series of sweeping changes that will touch every aspect of American life. From immigration and healthcare to education and the environment, the stakes are incredibly high. It's up to each and every one of us to stay informed, engage in thoughtful dialogue, and hold our elected officials accountable. The future of this nation depends on it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated on the latest news and analysis. Let us know in the comments which proposed law or executive order you think will have the biggest impact. Together, let's navigate these uncertain times and work towards a brighter future for all Americans.